I've always been very fascinated with color and how a lot of the times color in nature is either an attractant or a repellent, something that makes you want to look at it or stay away from it or don't eat me or eat me, nice red berry. Also, I'm really interested in how colors react when they're next to each other, like if you put a certain color next to another, like color theory, how it can change and affect things.
Hi art friends, that was a clip from an interview with artist Jen Stark. This week we're going to look at and be inspired by some of her work. Jen Stark is a painter, sculptor, and animator from Miami, Florida, who's known for her repetitive, intricate, and very detailed sculptures and paintings that often resemble patterns in nature. Stark's work mimics plant growth, topographical maps, infinity, fractals, and as she says, the geometry of the universe. Her paper sculptures are done by layering individually cut stacks of paper on top of each other. She cuts papers one by one and makes the next paper just a tiny bit smaller to create these amazing forms. Can you imagine how long it would take to create this sculpture? She's also known for her drip paintings and murals, which is what our project this week is going to be inspired by. She uses line, color, and repetition to show movement in her artwork. The designs and colors almost look like they're melting on the page. If you look closely, she uses bright rainbow-colored patterns right next to black and white patterns, which creates what's called contrast and makes those areas visually pop out to our eyes. Here's a video for you to watch from her collaboration with Vans Shoes. Yes, you can actually customize a pair of Vans with her artwork on it. Pretty cool, huh?
Typically my artwork is organic, a bit mathematic, inspired by designs in nature, fractals, sacred geometry, color, the mysteries in our natural environment. Something that a lot of people don't know about me is I love adventure. Try to explore the natural world and walk around, clear my head. With nature, it's effortless. There's this secret math and organic designs kind of merge. And I'm trying to tap into that with my own work. I use a lot of psychedelic designs. I love the desert's energy and kind of opens up your mind a little bit. Working in the studio and putting in the hours are super important, but you also have to take time off and get inspiration, and especially look up at the stars. It's a really beautiful, awesome, inspiring place. It gives me a lot of creativity. I think customizing is really cool. Being able to express myself that way and sharing it with the whole world, that's really awesome.
For your project, you'll need a paper and something to write with. I will be using a couple different Sharpies to draw with, but if you don't have Sharpies, you can use a regular black marker. If you don't have a black marker, you can use a black crayon, black oil pastel, or even a pen. Be creative with your materials. To color, you can use what you like, but you want bright colors, so I'd use markers or highlighters if you have them. If you have paints or oil pastels and have been wanting to use them like I have, now would be a great time to break those out as well. Remember, we want bright, bold colors for this project. To start making Jen Stark inspired drips, start at the top of your paper by making a series of very curvy, organic lines with your largest marker, or the side of your Crayola marker to make a thicker line. You'll curve up and down and up and down. Your brain is going to tell you to go fast, but try to go slow and be very thoughtful about how you're drawing your lines. Use your Sharpie right away. We don't need to waste time drawing with pencil and then re-outlining with Sharpie. Show overlapping when you start a new drip. Go back in and use the same lines to create repetition with a smaller Sharpie or the point of your Crayola marker. This will help you tell the drips apart because with so many lines, it does tend to get a little confusing. You can be as detailed with the lines as you want. Remember to go slow and try to copy the line next to the drip. Repetition is key with your drawings. Okay, now that you have your drips drawn, it's time to color. Let's look at one of Jen Stark's paintings again. Notice those black and white patterns next to the colored patterns? That's what we're going for. We want to create some contrast in our artwork. So I'm going to use a rainbow pattern similar to what she used, and a black and white pattern. You can use whatever color pattern you want. Remember, you don't have to have the same colors as me, but one of your patterns does need to be black and white. I'm going to start with my black and white pattern and color every other curvy, drippy stripe in with a black marker. When you're coloring, go slow so you don't leave any white spots, unless of course that line is supposed to be white. Now I'm going to start my rainbow pattern, and I'm pretty excited because I've been missing using my neon oil pastels. I like these because they're pretty transparent and don't cover up my black marker if I accidentally go over it. I suggest using markers, highlighters, or bright crayons. If you're using crayons, you may need to press pretty hard since we're going for a really bright product. Alright, well my project is coming along quite nicely. I hope that you've learned a little about Jen Stark and her work. She's a pretty cool chick that's done some pretty amazing work. When you're finished, your work should show repetition and contrast, since we use the same lines repeated over and over and use different color patterns placed next to each other. You should have some overlapping drips, which creates this sort of layered melting look. Your work should also show craftsmanship, meaning by looking at it, I should be able to tell that you took your time on your artwork and used the materials correctly. I love seeing artwork being turned in that shows that you put a lot of thought into it. By the way, if you happen to be working on an iPad, you can use an app like ArtRage to create this project. I did a couple examples. I simply used a pen tool, bigger to draw the main drips and smaller to draw the repetitive lines in the drips, and the fill bucket. The only thing you have to remember when using the fill bucket is that if your pen lines don't connect, the fill will spill out into other shapes, so you do have to zoom in really close to make sure all of your lines are connected. Other than that, you do save a lot of time using the fill bucket. Okay friends, I can't wait to see your artwork. By now, everyone should be uploading pretty easily to Artsonia using our school code, but if you need to use Teams or email, that's fine too. Please make sure you scan our school QR code with your phone or iPad and use the Artsonia app, not a parent account, to upload your work or I cannot see it. Here's a quick reminder of how to upload on Artsonia. First, you go to Artsonia, then you hit Add Art, then you select your gallery. So ours will be 3rd, 4th, or 5th distance learning. Now, I already took a picture of my project, so I'm just going to hit import, but here you can also take a picture from Camera Roll, and I find going to recently added is the best option. Then you select your photo. You can, down at the bottom, you'll see a little arrow in a circle. You can rotate it, and then you can crop it to the edges to make sure it's a nice picture with no background showing. Hit next. Hit submit. Title your artwork. Hit submit. And then in your artist statement, write whatever you want. We've been over this before, so you can write what you liked, you can write what you didn't like, you can write what the challenge was, or what you learned. And there you go, you are all finished. I miss you all so much, and I hope you enjoy making art with me while we're apart. Bye!